So we have something approaching for ADA within the next week that people need to be aware of. And I know there are going to be a lot of questions regarding what does this mean for ADA price? Does this mean we will see some upward movement soon? Does it mean prices are going to drop lower? And this is actually in regard to the death cross. We are seeing this approach for ADA. We are seeing this approach for BTC. And we need to have actually a little bit more of a complex discussion about this. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So I would say that, structure wise, ADA still looks just fine here. What I mean by that is we're still in our big bull flag that we're printing currently. We're kind of putzing around right in the middle here. We are below all of our moving averages. So I think ADA does need to make a move above these very soon. That would be a very strong reversal confirmation for ADA. In terms of BTC right now too, when we're looking at Bitcoin, we're doing kind of the same thing here. BTC trying to fight for some strength in these ranges. It's showing that it wants to bounce. ADA is showing that it wants to bounce. These are great signs overall. But what we do have present and is very quickly approaching is a death cross. So this is actually when the 50-day moving average crosses the 200-day moving average. For those that aren't familiar, our 200-day is this green line right here. Our 50-day is our orange line right here. And we can see that probably in about a week or so, if prices stay consistent, this is when this will hit. This is looking like actually it's around Tuesday of next week. Okay. Now this isn't a guarantee. Nobody knows that this is going to hit for sure. But despite this kind of scary name, this doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see more downside in terms of price. Now, when we look back at these death crosses, historically speaking, in terms of ADA, they haven't been great for price, right? We had one all the way back here in September 11th, September 12th of May. I'm sorry, September, May 11th, May 12th of 2024, which during that time we saw a lot of breakdown in the crypto market. ADA was fighting trend and having a very hard time escaping it. So yes, we did see a lot more downside as the summer went on. We had negative events time and time again. So it sucked, right? The time before that, when we look back at ADA, it was all the way back coming out of the bull market cycle. You guys can see this cross all the way on December 8th of 2021. So yes, it did lead to more downside. Now, that being said, what this is more typically a confirmation of is one, that we've been in a bearish trend. That's more so what it confirms, but it also is something that predicts near-term rebounds with above average returns. Now, this isn't me just throwing shit. Okay. This is actually right from Investopedia. I've talked about these things before. It can actually confirm that you have reached a bottom in terms of sentiment. Okay. So that's a very good sign for ADA, because we know obviously our low was all the way back here on, what was that, February 3rd. We know that we had a higher low back here on February 28th. And we have once again set in a little bit higher low here on March 31st. So ADA is having a very distinct trend playing out currently. And that is that we are slowly but surely working our way up in terms of sentiment. So what we may actually get is if the market does have enough excitement surrounding it, we could actually see ADA price on the move to the upside while getting this death cross taking place. This could cause a little bit of fear, a little bit of drop, but then actually confirming a little bit higher of a low yet again on the path towards this ADA breakout, right? Now, this isn't a guarantee or financial advice or anything like that, but this would actually not be a very surprising movement for ADA to do. It's really going to depend on the overall crypto market, whether retail continues to freak out more, if we continue to see this conviction from ADA holders, which has been present for a long time, right? That's the big question. And what I have to point to here as well is when we're looking at something like Bitcoin, what we're seeing here as well approaching is a Bitcoin death cross. Now, we can see that this actually takes place probably more around like April 18th or so if this trend does continue. BTC, again, also trying to buck its trend. When we look back at these Bitcoin death crosses as well, they've actually been preparation for movements to the upside, right? The last death cross for BTC was all the way back here on September 22nd of 2023. And that was, again, actually a confirmation that the bearishness in terms of local sentiment was over. All right. And then we actually saw BTC go on a massive run to the upside. A lot of excitement ensued. Rah, rah, yay, yay, right? And what we actually saw was the last time this death cross was approaching in terms of BTC was back in September of 2024, right in the middle. And instead of actually getting this death cross, we saw a nice boom to the upside. So what this is actually suggesting is we could be on the verge of booms across the crypto market. I do want to remind people that people are starting to get tax money back. We'll be past this, these big questions surrounding the economy, surrounding tariffs. We will be at a point where, again, the global liquidity chart, or the M2 chart, is starting to actually flip around, right? We're getting a lot of great signs right now. And I know that the local narrative is very loud and it's overpowering. And it's causing sentiment to do some wild things. But we've kind of reached a nice actual point of stability in the market. What I mean by that is, volume has quieted down quite a bit. When we look back at these days, since actually, what was it, March 12th, there's only been one brief moment where volume has exceeded $100 billion in daily trading volume. Okay. So what we're at is, again, a point where people aren't really making major moves one way or the other. Yes, we're dealing with some of this short-term manipulation, but it's pretty even keel. It's pretty quiet. Although right now the sentiment is at a 29, we're in this fearful range. And it seems like things are pretty just blah, pretty, I'm trying to think of the best word for it, but pretty stable, right? This seems very similar to what we were dealing with, again, here in the summer into the fall of 2024. It all seems very, very similar right now. Sentiment, very, very similar. Now, what we need to remember as well is ADA and Cardano have a lot of positive things that are going on. We have the midnight airdrop coming, which people keep asking me about the date. I don't know the exact date. We have Ouroboros Laos coming. We have potential of RLUSD entering the ecosystem. We have the development of a stablecoin between Hedera and Cardano. There's a lot of institutional interest, right? There's a lot of things that are working in Cardano and ADA's favor right now that could actually be, again, accelerants to move ADA to the upside. So yes, we have a death cross approaching. Does it mean all doom and gloom? No. Could it mean that there is some downside ahead in terms of price? Yes, that could definitely happen. We have a little bit of time before this does take place. Yes, I believe we will have more volatility before that time, but I just wanted to have a discussion about this nonetheless. There's endless possibilities about the way this could go, and we will talk more about this as this day does get closer, but things are starting to shift in the crypto market. It's a question of, do we see that continued shift? Do we see that movement towards positive sentiment? Do we see breakouts begin across the crypto market? So appreciate you guys as always. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.